Hi, I'm Michelle from Unicorn and Centaur, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make your own polo wraps for your horse, and it's easier than you think. Polo wraps complete the matchy-matchy trifecta of ear bonnets, saddle pads, boots. Some people put polo wraps on their horse simply for fashion. There are equestrians with massive polo wrap collections in every color of the rainbow and every pattern of fleece that is available on the market today. It turns out it's a fairly simple process to make your own polo wraps. So if you want to save money, or if you have found a really cool pattern like unicorns, this is all you have to do. You need 3 yards of anti-pill fleece. You can get this from Walmart or JoAnn Fabrics or your other local fabric store. You can order 3 yards of fabric online. And yes, you need 3 yards. You cannot just get 1 yard of fabric and piece it together. The polo wraps are one continuous piece of fabric. Any seams that are in the fabric will cause pressure points on your horse's legs that can cause injuries. You need good scissors. Not some dollar store ones that you use for cutting paper. You need some good scissors, and they need to be sharp. Fleece can be difficult to work with. It can be a little bit slippery, and cutting a nice clean edge can be difficult, so you need a nice sharp blade. You need a hem gauge. If you don't have a hem gauge, you can just use a ruler. And some kind of marking implement. You can use tailor's chalk, you can use colored pencil, you can use permanent marker. I just do little dots of permanent marker down the edge and then line up my scissors and cut that way. You need 2-inch Velcro or hook and loop fastener. Velcro is the brand name, but you need the 2-inch kind, and not the kind with the adhesive backs. Most Velcro you find in the stores nowadays has adhesive backing, but if you try to machine stitch a piece of Velcro that has an adhesive backing, you're gonna gum up your machine, you're gonna break needles, you're gonna be sad, and then I'm gonna be sad, and then everybody's gonna be sad. You can't have a sticky back on this. You'll also need a sewing machine with thread that matches your project, but if you don't have a sewing machine, don't panic. You can do this by hand stitching with a needle and thread. If you do that, make sure you get craft thread or button thread or quilting thread. Those 3 types of thread are thicker and stronger than regular all-purpose thread, so when you're hand sewing seams in an area like on a horse's legs that has a lot of activity and needs to hold really strong, you'll have much stronger seams that way if you use either quilting thread, craft thread, or button thread. Again, that's just for hand sewing though. If you're sewing on a sewing machine, all-purpose thread is fine. You're going to need some straight pins to pin your fabric together. And if you're like me, you're going to need a seam ripper. Don't judge yourself, just get one. Lay out your fabric to cut it out. If you have a cutting table, this is easy. I don't. I have to lay my fabric out on the floor, so I make sure I have the nice clean floor. I lay out my fabric. You can double up the fabric to cut like 2 strips at a time, but because fleece can move around while you're working with it, I personally cut 1 strip at a time. Measure 4.5 to 5-inch strips with a marking tool, and then cut your strips as evenly as possible. If your edges are ragged, you can take some time to trim the edges up and make them smooth. Once you have 4 strips of fleece that are 9 feet long and 5 inches wide, or 4.5 inches wide, roll those puppies up and let's get sewing. Take one end of each strip and fold down the corners, making a triangle at the end. Pin this carefully and stitch it down. Cut your 2-inch wide Velcro into 6-inch strips. There are 2 sides to the Velcro. There is the male side, or the hook side. That's the scratchy one. Then there's the loop side, or the female side, which is the softer one. You'll need 1 strip of the hook side and 1 strip of the loop side. Take the hook strip and stitch it to the triangle end of the polo wrap, covering the seam. Stitch all the way around the edges of the Velcro and then crisscross through at the center to strengthen the attachment. Now turn the wrap over and pin a 6-inch long loop strip to the opposite side, 6 inches lower than the bottom of the hook strip. Stitch this in place. Trim all your threads and check your work. Okay, guess what? That's 1 done. Repeat all the steps with all the strips of Velcro and fleece. That's it. You made polo wraps. Yay! Once you're finished, you have a finished polo wrap. So you fold down so the outside of the hook strap is here, the outside of the loop strap is there, and you start rolling. Rolling them with the Velcro on the inside like this means that it will be ready to wrap around a horse's leg when you get it all the way done. So just wrap this to the end. Does this save you money? Maybe. Fleece can cost up to $15 a yard, and you need 3 yards. Now, you can get 2, possibly 3 sets of Polo Wraps out of 3 yards of fleece. So at the high end, you'll be paying $45 for fleece to make 2 Polo Wraps. Plain colors of fleece are cheaper, so if you are on a budget, wait until there's a sale or find a coupon. You can find a color that matches your tack probably for less than $5 a yard. Or you can do like I did and find some fancy print that you can't really find anywhere else at a store and make those. By the way, if you're watching this and you love these and you have a mighty need, then check the description box below. There is a link to my Etsy store where you can purchase one of the 2 sets I made. First of all, it's been a minute since I worked with fleece and I forgot how annoying it is. It will move all over the place and your seams will end up looking stupid if you don't pin it very carefully and check your work constantly as it's moving through your machine. Check and double check. Measure twice, sew once. Another cautionary note in this video is on the use of polos themselves. Confession time, I have never wrapped polos before. Polo wraps look cute and they can be a fun accessory, but if they're wrapped incorrectly, they can cause serious injury to both the rider and the horse. Loosely wrapped polos can come undone while you're riding, tripping up your horse and causing falls and even broken bones. Polos wrapped too tightly can cause injuries to your horse's legs and tendons. If you don't have experience wrapping and riding in polos, please ask your trainer for advice and to teach you how to do it. Now, if you are an experienced wrapper of polos, then witness my first attempt. I watched a couple of tutorial videos and I was like, oh, that is totally easy. I can do that. And then I got to the barn and I discovered, oh, wow, I cannot do that. And Artax had never had polos on him, so he didn't know it. He kept moving around, so I couldn't really get it even. And then when I was all done, he was doing the thing like dogs do when they lift up their foot and kind of look at it because they can't figure out what's on their leg. Bless him. Don't worry, I did not ride him in these. I put them on to practice wrapping and to take a picture for the video, but he did not get ridden in those and he was so glad. Thank you for watching my video today. Do you use Polo Wraps on your horse? Do you use them for support or just to be matchy-matchy? Let me know in the comments below. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's totally free, and you know, I get totally excited every time that number moves up. I know I'm not supposed to be emotionally attached to the numbers, but I am, okay? So if you haven't subscribed, just click the little subscribe button and then I'll be like, oh, I can't help it. Don't judge me, love me. Just love me and watch my videos.